I would like to call the Fairfield County Council regular meeting to order, Monday, April 22nd, 2021, 6 p.m. Can we, April 12th, 2021, 6 p.m. Can we get approval of the agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for the approval of the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The agenda stand approved, so we're gonna have invocation by Councilmember Pauly.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for everyone that's here tonight. And please let us conduct ourselves in a way that would be pleasing to you. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Can we get item number 4, approval of minutes, the regular meeting, March 22nd, 2021, the budget work session, March 23rd, 2021, the budget work session, March 30th, 2021. Can we just have a motion to approve all of them?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
It's been moved and second for the approval of the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Approval of the minutes stand approved. Now we are down to public presentation. Item A, recognition of Marion Woodard for 41 years of service to Fairfield County. Simply outstanding.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we'd like to recognize Ms. Woodard for her service to the citizens of the county and to the Fairfield County Tax Collector's Office. At the time of her retirement, Ms. Woodard was our longest-serving full-time employee with nearly 42 years of service. Ms. Woodard began her career with the county on July 2nd, 1979, and was classified as a clerk typist 1. She was later promoted to the position of tax collector on July 26, 1982, where she served until her retirement. And so tonight, we just like to tell Ms. Woodard we sincerely appreciate her service and dedication to the county, and we wish her the very best in her retirement. We do have a plaque here that we would like to give her also.
Okay,
Like to say anything?
yeah, any council member want to say anything?
I'd like to say, Ms. Woodard, it's been a pleasure having you as our tax collector, and you did a fantastic job, and then we just appreciate everything that you've done for Fairfield County.
Anyone? Go ahead, Ms. Paul.
Ms. Woodard, thank you for your service.
And same here, Ms. Wood. Thank you for your service.
Anyone else?
Same here, Ms. Woodard. Thank you for your service.
Thank you also, Ms. Woodard.
Thank you, Ms. Woodard.
And again, thank you, Ms. Woodard, for everything you've done. I remember you coming to the office, that office. You worked for my friend, Mr. James Vanderhall. You know, he was my buddy. I tell you, we went through a lot together. So again, I want to thank you for all that you've done and how you've held that office and all the work that you've done. So thank you, Ms. Woodard. Mr. Caller, could we all come and get a picture with Ms. Woodard?
Sure.
You can't step up?
If she, because we can come down. Want this come right over here?
Okay. Just nice and easy. Okay, I got it. You got it? I got it. Cords.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I guess we are. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take a picture of that plastic glass.
A long time.
He'll be here to have a bit for COVID.
Right.
Thanks so kindly. I appreciate that.
Okay, we're gonna hear that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me, you, Frank, will you take this over there to Rob?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
I give her a round of applause.
Those kinds of things are really good. I tell you, when you recognize people for dedication and devotion and commitment, it's a wonderful thing for the county. So we are down to item 6, public comment session. Ms. Davis.
We have 4 citizens who wish to speak tonight. And to reiterate the code of conduct, Fairfield County Council believes that the public interest is best served when meetings are conducted in an atmosphere of mutual respect and civility. Every person, including public officials and private citizens who participate in a Fairfield County Council meeting, is requested to adopt the following pledge of conduct. I pledge that I may disagree, but will be respectful of all. I will direct all comments to the pending issues. I will refrain from personal attacks. And our first speaker is Mr. Jeff Morris, speaking on executive session and public comment.
Good evening, Council. My comments really are directed to the operation of the meetings generally, executive session as an example. The agenda says executive session to consider a matter relating to X. Very, very little description, and it is really almost impossible for a citizen attempting to be informed and educated about the issues to know what you're talking about. And I think, frankly, that the agenda understates what it could state under typical executive session provisions. And so I'd urge you to reconsider how you set up the agenda in terms of the amount of information provided so people can have a better idea. As an example, if you say we need to go and speak about a litigation matter, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying litigation being Smith versus Jones, Jones versus County, whatever it happens to be, the case title, just so people have some idea what's even the issue that's involved. Doesn't in any way implicate restrictions or limitations on your ability to act in executive session, but it does provide citizens with a little bit more information about what's going on in the county government. And I think that that's helpful, especially at this time when in effect, access is extraordinarily limited. The difficulty of these kinds of things, which are certainly well beyond your control, just really heightens, I think, the obligation you have to be as open and transparent as possible. And I urge you to do that. Now, with respect to public comments, historically, we have had both a public comment on the agenda items and public comments on matters not on the agenda. I see it's just on the agenda. I support that notion. I think that's a good idea. I don't think that these meetings should be expanded by people at the podium bringing in an issue that's not already on the agenda. So I applaud that action. I would, however, suggest that that itself raises a heightened level of responsibility for the council generally and council members individually to reach out to the citizens and say, look, you have an opportunity to raise issues, but it isn't at this meeting. It's to me. I am available, thus and such. I've had communication with my representative, but it's kind of, you have to be proactive about it. And I think it would be helpful to citizens to know that council members and the council generally are actively interested in hearing from citizens and whatever ideas they may have with respect to pending matters and things that are not pending but are of interest and importance to them. So I would urge some kind of communication along those lines. I think that would improve the general view of the council among the citizenry. They'll feel like we're a little bit more in it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Yvette Howard, speaking on courthouse renovations.
Hello, Council. I'm Yvette Howard, Secretary of the Fairfield County Branch, NACP. We, as the NACP, totally support the majority of council. We are appalled at the fact that the former council members allowed the county administration to dig this county into a financial hole. The agenda indicates that an update will be given at this meeting on courthouse renovations. We will be following this item closely. However, it does no good if you're not transparent in your actions. I'm saying this because in the past, as you know, with the Mount Zion project, some things were said that ended up not being true. And we are still following that project also. But I just wanted you to know that we are still here. We haven't been able to come out the past year like we had been, but we are still here and we are still monitoring things with the county and with the council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Thomas Armstrong, speaking on public hearing.
Good evening to council, to all residents of Fairfield County, everybody that's here tonight. My name is Thomas Armstrong. Everybody know me as Tony. I'm from District 4. And my topic tonight is on public hearing. Along with public hearing, the lack of. I feel as though the lack of public hearing, and I respectfully inform you all that I, for one, am extremely dissatisfied with the direction of this county. At one point in time, there was said to perhaps that we was making great strides. The financial situation that we are currently in is unacceptable. You all were elected to do a job. Now, sometimes that job might be a hard job and it might be an easy job, but no matter what, you have a job to do. Just like anybody else in the county who are employees of the county, if they should do anything to represent this county in a negative way, I'm quite sure there are policies in place to remove people, to discipline people. And we have allowed this county to go down. Fund balance is went down over $14 million in the last 5 years. At what point will you all step up and do what you were elected to do? You have a hard task ahead of you, and I support you all in everything that you do, but you all have a responsibility, and I expect for you to meet your responsibility. If not, just resign. Do what you have to do. It's not an easy job, but I respect you all for running, for doing what you do, for coming out every night, for doing what you all do and putting together a budget. But how can you put together a budget if you don't have any money because you've allowed other people to spend all our money? But I know it's a hard job, but when are we going to turn things around? I hear in the rumor there's rumors about furloughs for employees. That's too much. I even hear there's a possibility of raising millage. That's too much. But I respect the fact that you all come out here, meeting after meeting, night after night, and try to come up with a budget. Now, I hope you all do a better job than your predecessor, because at this point, we are continuing to go down further and further. So I ask the council, respectfully, please do your jobs so that we don't continue to go down in a negative way that we have been going in the last 5 years. Moses Bell, Miss Green, Tim, and missing one, and Mike Trapp. I thank you all very much for your hard work, for your diligence, for keeping us informed. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Mr. Randy Bright, speaking on public comment and executive session.
Randy Bright, District 1, Ridgeway. I too want to talk about two topics tonight that are intertwined, and they're both all about transparency from the government and an informed citizenry. The first one, transparency, Mr. Morris already touched upon, hit most of my high points. Let's be sure that we convey at least some broad specifics about what the executive session is all about. I would think you would want to do that because an executive session, just saying executive session, leads a lot of doubt to integrity and transparency for the rest of the audience today. So please, let's get some specifics, broad specifics. Let us know what you're discussing. An informed public can only help the council and can only help the county. On the other part, on public speaking, I disagree with the other public speaker because the second session of public speaking is indeed public speaking. We forget sometimes that we have two newspapers, we have TV, so that we can get a much broader audience. Our input, our feelings, our directions, and our comments to those that are out in the audience, which are in the media audience, which are far greater than are in this building right now. And we can get some conversations started by doing that. Yes, contacting individual district reps is one way to do it, and would augment that, but allowing citizens to speak on topics not germane to today's agenda can only help the county because so many people hear what we say, read what we say, and those are lasting comments. Another aspect is I would have had an opportunity tonight to thank Mr. Taylor, Ms. Johnson, and Ms. Bass for their grasp of and understanding of financials and the budget process. They understand it's a holistic process. You don't just look at a snapshot in time on a fund balance that varies from day to day. You don't just look at expense cutting. You also look at revenues. You also look at revenues that are in the future, not just what revenues you had in the past. You can't base what revenues you get in the future solely on what you have in the past, because we just collected a $500,000 check, nearly $500,000 check from one of our manufacturers that we didn't get previously. It just came this year, the way it was structured with their contract. So keep the public informed, allow the public to engage, and we'll have a better county. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all the citizens for speaking to council. We are now down to number 7, executive session. But before I entertain an executive session motion, I would like to share some information with you for the benefit of members of the public and the members of council regarding executive sessions that will aid our understanding going forward. Freedom of Information Act in Section 30-470B, as adopted in our bylaws, state as follows. Before going into executive session, the public agency shall vote in public on the question, and when the vote is favorable, the presiding officer shall announce the specific purpose of the executive session. As used in Freedom of Information Act, specific purpose means description of the matters to be discussed as identified in terms 1 through 5 of Freedom of Information Act Section 30-470A. We have listed some of the items for our discussion on the agenda. However, the state Supreme Court has stated that Freedom of Information Act does not require that an agenda for an executive session be posted or that the news media be notified of the agenda of an executive session. So can we get a motion for executive session?
Motion to go into executive session, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, so with that background, here's the purpose of the executive session. A, legal matter, receipt of legal advice and discussion regarding pending litigation pursuant to South Carolina Code annotation 30-4-70A2. B, contractual matter, discussion of negotiation concerning proposed contract for sale of property pursuant to South Carolina Code annotation 30-470A2. Personnel matter, discussion of a personnel matter pursuant to South Carolina Code annotation 30-470A1. D, a contractual matter, receipt of legal advice and discussion regarding construction contract involving administration building pursuant to South Carolina Code annotation 30-4-70-A1. Are you, all in favor of the, the motion to go into executive session? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposers? No opposed, so stand approved. So we're not going to executive session.
Yeah.
Moses.
Can we get a motion to come out of it, come out of executive session? And there was no, activities, no decisions made in executive session.
Motion to exit executive session, enter back in the regular session, Mr. Chair.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded that we come out of, executive session, go back into regular session. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Okay, thank you. Um, we're down to public hearings, none. Ordinance, resolution, and orders. Ms. Davis.
Is your microphone on? Chairman Bell.
Close.
Is your microphone on?
No, it went on. Do I need to go back through that?
No, but I think, are you gonna do that?
Okay, we're down to, item, number 9, ordinance resolution and orders resolution number 2021-02, a resolution affirming Fairfield County's commitment to fair housing. All of you got that in y'all package. Do y'all want want Ms. Davis to go ahead and read it?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and read it. Ms. Davis.
Okay, you want me to read the whole thing?
Yes, ma'am.
A resolution affirming Fairfield County's commitment to fair housing, whereas the Fairfield County Council commemorates the enactment of the Title VIII Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, Fair Housing Act, and whereas the Fairfield County Council recognizes April as National Fair Housing Month, and the county will observe the 2021 theme, Fair Housing, More Than Just Words, and whereas the Fairfield County Council desires that its citizens be afforded the opportunity to obtain fair housing choice without the occurrence of discrimination. And whereas the Fairfield County Council rejects discrimination in the provision of housing on the basis of race, religion, color, sex, national origin, familial status, or disability. And whereas the Fairfield County Council desires to encourage equal opportunity housing for all citizens. And whereas to ensure fair housing opportunities for all its citizens, Fairfield County has passed a fair housing ordinance. And whereas the Fair Housing Administrator recognizes the grants coordinator as the official coordinator of all fair housing initiatives on behalf of Fairfield County. And whereas Fairfield County further wishes to bring to the attention of its citizens its concern that all citizens are informed and aware of their rights under the state of South Carolina Fair Housing Law of 1989. And whereas the Fairfield County Council encourages positive action toward the elimination of discriminatory practices in the sale, rental, financing, and all other housing transactions. Now therefore be it resolved that Fairfield County Council reaffirms its commitment to fair housing as one of the nation's most cherished and fundamental values. Signed and sealed this day of April.
Okay, we've gone through it. Can we get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Are there any other discussions? All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So the resolution is passed. Okay, number 10, board and commission minutes. Just received his information from Disability and Special Needs, the Chamber of Commerce. 11, 12, 13, 11 and 12, none. New business, A. The acceptance of the airport coronavirus response grant, ACRGP grant offer, grant number 3-45-008-021-2021 for Fairfield County Airport, and given authority to authorize representative to include county administrator and county attorney, the execution of documents. Can we get a motion to approve?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved in second, for approval. Any discussion? I see we have our airport director here.
If we could just get a
She's at the podium.
description.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm just here for any questions that you have about this grant. This is our second CARES Out grant. Last year, we received one for $30,000. This is our second CARES Act grant, one for this year for $13,000. We have no apportionment that we have to pay. It's just free money that's coming from the Federal Aviation Administration. And we have to have it turned in by April 30th. It just has to be approved by the attorney's office.
Okay, any questions? If not, we would like to take this time to thank you for all the work you do at the airport.
Thank you, sir.
We were just over there a few weeks ago, so again, thank you for everything you do.
You're welcome. Also, I forgot to tell you, this grant will probably, I'm sure through finance, be applied to my salary. It has to be used for certain things at the airport only. And I think that the last year's, Mr. Taylor, if that's correct, Laura, it was applied to my salary, and this one can also be applied to my salary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor? If no more discussion, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Stand approved. Now we're gonna have the county administrator's report, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, first on the, under my report tonight, we do have Mr. Brian Brown, who's with GMK Engineering. He will be here to give council an update on the courthouse renovations. As you all are aware, we've been working on our county courthouse to bring it up to modern standards, meet ADA, and be able to accommodate what we need to conduct court for some time. We do have some money in our bond that was previously issued to cover this. Mr. Brown, if you would like to give the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. My name is Bryant Brown. I'm a partner with GMK Associates out of Columbia. And I want to thank y'all for the opportunity to work with you on your courthouse. For the ones of y'all that are familiar with it, not, your courthouse was erected in 1822, so you're coming up on your 200th anniversary. We've worked on a number of these, what we call Robert Mills courthouses in the state, so you have a very unique building there. And one of the things that you hired us to do was to do an evaluation of that building. As Mr. Taylor said, what we've spent since October of 20, we worked on trying to evaluate the building, and I won't waste all your time. I could talk all night about it, but going through it to look at the mechanical, the electrical, the walls, the structure, what needs to be done to it for ADA, for safety, all the items in that building that need to be done and fixed and repaired and make it last another 200 years. And a lot of that stuff, someone asked me earlier, a vast majority of it is the mechanical is old in there. The electrical needs to be upgraded. Elevators, I could get into a long list of stuff. And so we're at the final stages. We finished up the study last year. And we're now in the first phase, which the first phase will be to go in and start working on the bathrooms. All the bathrooms have to be upgraded in that building. And there's one floor that doesn't even have it in there. So it's for public access and for staffing in there. We'll be started into that phase of it. And then the second phase of the project will be to build a new addition to the back of the building. One of the real keys to this thing is to keep the building going, so we can keep it going and be safe and phased into the different phases into the building as we get into it. There's just a list. I don't want to bore everybody with it, but parking outside, working with the parking, working with the infrastructure underneath it. And if you've been around the courthouse, we've got some water problems with a moat that runs around it, and just a whole host of things that need to be addressed, nothing that can't be corrected, and just pulling all that together. So we're in the process now of getting pricing on all of it so we can finalize our budget. I don't know how deep you want me to go, but I can keep going. And
do council have any questions?
I'd just like to see that rendering you got behind you.
all right. Let me show you all this first one here, just so everybody's orientated. This courthouse now, and as we work on this block, we're gonna add the addition on the back here. And we're gonna bring the back of you'll come into the courthouse from the back. And the reason for that is for safety and for protection. So we can separate the general population from the courts out. The court and staff will park on the back. We will come in from the backside is to come into the courthouse and still access from the front. Front with the steel step that were put in 1939, they're not ADA accessible. So we want to be able to get people into the building to get up to the first and second floors in that building. So the addition will go on the back of it. Part of that task. So this is just kind of the first shot at it. I've got to working on it. This will be the back of it coming in. This is the courthouse coming down the side, and this will be the entrance coming into it. And we will use this as phasing to take people out of different offices, come into here, and as we redirect it in there.
Can I ask that?
That is the back.
That will be the back.
Okay. Okay.
Whereas this will be coming on the bank side, and the back of it will be part of.
Oh, back to meet him up with Jack. And they want to do it. Yeah.
Mr. Bill,
Ms. Paul.
you have like an estimated cost already, or is it too early to tell what the
The budget was around 5.3.
How long will it take to do the project?
We're going to start the first phase in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It'll take about a little over a year to get it all done, because we're going to phase it. The main thing is to keep it open and keep it running and try to move people around in it. There's some, but the building, I want to say this to all of you, the other ones that I've worked on like this in Camden and down in King Street, this building is in really good shape. So you're very blessed with that. And you've taken good care of it over the years. It just got to be updated.
Question, sir, and I've already asked you this question, when just you and I, but one of them is that, the courthouse have a lot of mold in it. And please talk about, I guess you're doing things to make sure, the moisture and all that stuff is down.
In our discovery, the mold or / aspergillus was at a very minimum. So we're in good shape there. But what we've got to control is the humidity in there. And part of that is in that mold is the water around the bottom of it. So the new air conditioning system in there and the humidity controls and all that will make a huge difference. It will address those situations there.
And the other part of the question is whether we've looked at it mechanically and electrical in such a way that we don't have to do changes after the project has been started so that it costs us more money.
No, sir. We have a what we call a GMP on the project, a guaranteed maximum price. If it goes over that, that's our thing. But all the mechanical, electrical, and all that, we've done all the research on it and all my engineers, and we've got everything pretty solid. So, and it'll all be upgraded to the current standards and codes, and that's the other part of it is getting a lot of this up to code.
Okay, and I guess in the other part, Mr. Paul asked the question about how much it was going to cost. Mr. Taylor, you want to share how much we got of the bond?
The bond that we have currently has 4.2 to 4.3 million, if I'm not mistaken, left in it, assigned for the courthouse. And obviously, what's being presented here is above that. We are looking at other avenues to see if we can raise the money to fill that gap. And if we cannot, we may have to look at cutting back on the project to keep it within budget.
And he's correct. This was the all-in wish list, and we've got it itemized out. So when it comes down to it, we can bring it into the budget.
And the reason that part of the discussion is very important to us is because we gotta look at every dime that we spend. We just have to.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other question from council? I guess there's another observation is that, and I didn't know this, is that, it was built in 1822. We coming up toward 1922. I mean, I'm sorry, 2022. And Ms. Davis, I'm wondering, you know, should we, think about or talk to somebody? Wonder, could we just do something, to celebrate, 200 years at the courthouse? So let's think about how we can do something there.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because next year you'll be in your 200th year. And it'd be an excellent time to celebrate something like that. So.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
The next item that we actually had on the agenda under my report was we were going to look to celebrate Element TV. They were the recipient of Walmart Supplier of the Year, but we're not able to make it tonight. So we're going to defer that till next time to actually do the
Yes, sir.
presentation on that. The item I had up next was an update on our food share. Ms. Johnson has been handling that, so I will let her update council on the food share program.
Okay. Good evening, council. I was tasked with planning another food box distribution. I recently secured a date for April 28th, which is Wednesday, April 28th. I'm still working out the logistics and I'll keep everyone posted.
Okay. So April, that's next week.
Say 20 or 28? 28.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, 28th. I thought you said 20th.
I do too.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, thank you.
COVID vaccinations also.
And just wanted to give council an update on the vaccinations. There's a drive-through vaccinations that are being held at the Fairfield Memorial Hospital grounds. The first one was March 31st, and about 250 vaccinations were administered. The next one that's coming up is April 14th between 10 and 3 p.m. Moderna and Johnson & Johnson will be offered, so anyone participates will have a choice. Appointments will be made for the second dose at the same location. So when you get in line, you have the first one, they'll go ahead and make an appointment for the second one. Yes, sir.
Yes, Paul.
Any kind of vaccinations that's coming up, can that be advertised on the billboard on the bypass?
Yes,
Since the county can advertise.
yes, sir.
Having the ad today, and they'll have them, I think, Friday also. Just, I think you show up from 9 to 11 o'clock and you can get
Okay.
And this is by appointment only, right?
No, ma'am, you just actually come and get in line.
Ms. Johnson, is that on our website? Will it be on the website?
Yes, sir. We put
Okay.
it on our website and on Facebook.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I had tonight.
Okay, thank you. We're down to, clerk to council report. Budget work session. Okay.
Our third budget work session is scheduled for tomorrow, the 13th, beginning at 6 o'clock. We had one last budget work session scheduled for Thursday, but I believe this is being rescheduled, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna have to reschedule, the one for Thursday because, and right now, I was just asking Mr. Taylor, I think we gotta be somewhere Monday and Tuesday, correct?
I'll verify, but I think that is the case. I said I'll have to verify, but I think that is the case.
Okay, so then, could we do Wednesday? Because one of the, for the budget work session, also, we need to schedule, I think Ms. Green has a report, I think, we was thinking about Monday, but could we do Wednesday for that, Ms. Green?
Wednesday of next week?
Yeah, Wednesday of next week.
Wednesday of next week. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Wednesday of next week for the budget, for the budget day. Ms. Davis, would you please check with, staff, especially Ms. Bass, and make sure that day is convenient for her, because if it's not, we don't want to get a day that she can't be here.
Did you want to do that at 7? You had mentioned that.
Yes, that's right. We do the budget work session at 7 and do the, and we do Ms. Green's report at 5:30. Okay. Okay, we're down to, county council time. Do we have any? Mr. Gilbert?
Yeah, yes, sir. I have a request. I would like to see that the council get a monthly finance report from our county attorney for all the county businesses and, dating back to his starting tenure.
I'm sorry, I can't hardly hear you, Miss.
I would like to see that
Talk-
we get
talk
a
into the mic.
monthly
Yeah.
financial report from the county attorney for all the county business dating back to his beginning tenure.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, along that lines, can we get a monthly report from our previous attorney so we can have something to compare each one?
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Mr. Robertson?
Mr. Taylor, how much do we currently have in the fund balance?
Again, that's a snapshot of on a given day. I do not know off the top of my head. We can pull and get you that.
Okay.
Do you happen to know?
Mr. Robinson, one of the things that Ms. Bass gave us, the last budget session was a report, and on the right-hand side of that report, was and she told us how to calculate what that fund balance is. So you probably can get it from that report you got last budget session. Any other comments from council? Any other council time? Again, I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow night. And one of the things is that most all of you know we got some difficult decisions to make, some immediate challenges, as been quoted. But again, there's nothing in here that we can't do and accomplish. So what we're asking is please be prepared tomorrow to discuss the budget in detail. We have to make cuts, and these cuts may not be pretty, but we got to have a budget that we can sustain ongoing. Okay. One of the things you see here tonight is that we're looking at a courthouse. We got 4.2, but it's going to cost us 5.2. What do we do? These are the kinds of decisions that every time we make decisions, we got to look at what it's costing us. Now, one of the things Ms. Green and I have been talking about is how we put a system in place that will help us going forward, so we won't find ourselves in the shape that we are currently in. Okay, I've been looking at some of the stuff from controller, financial planners, and those kinds of things. So we got to do something, and I want all of you to be thinking about, as a whole, what can we do to help ourselves that we will never again find ourselves in this financial peril that we got ourselves in now. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Mr. Trapp.
Mr. Taylor, can we get all the information that we requested at the last budget work session? Get it emailed to us sometime tomorrow before we actually come to the meeting?
We will. I think we have all that collected already, so we'll go ahead and get it to you.
And there's one of the items in particular, how many capital projects, right?
I mean, the ongoing projects that we have at the moment.
Again, and I know it's sort of inconvenient for everyone, but I'm asking everyone to be here 5:30. So because we got two items for the special call meeting, to discuss, and we need to be finished, those two items before 6 o'clock for the budget meeting. So that's 5:30 and 6. Thank you. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved in second that we adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. And adjourn.